Hello everyone, welcome back in online class, and today we are going to study about the second gland of the body, and that is the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica that attached to hypothalamus by a stalk. This gland is also known by the name of master gland because its secretion regulates the functions of other hormones, other glands of the body. This pituitary gland has the two parts, that is this pituitary gland is also known by the hypophysis. So the first part is the adenohypophysis and second part is called neurohypophysis. This adenohypophysis is formed by the extension of pharyngeal cells, while it is formed by the extensions of base thalamus. This adenohypophysis has three regions. One is called the pars distalis, second is called pars tuberalis, and third is pars intermedia. And this neurohypophysis is forming the posterior lobe, that is called the pars nervosa. And these different regions, this is the posterior lobe. These two forms the anterior lobe, and this one form the median lobe. Median lobe or intermediate lobe. Now, what is the structure? Let's see the structure of the pituitary gland anatomically. This is P-sept, and meanwhile it arises from here, that is the second lobe of pituitary gland in this way, and these two are connected to the hypothalamus. This middle region is the pars intermedia. This middle region is pars intermedia. This upper region is of hypothalamus. This is the anterior lobe of pituitary gland, and this is the posterior lobe. Now, what happened? The neurosecretory cells, suppose this is the neurosecretory cells, means neurons of the hypothalamus releases hormones. This is the neurosecretory cells, and this is the axon part of the neuron. These are the neurosecretory cells. Here, hypophyseal, through the hypophyseal portal system. This is hypophyseal portal system, hypophyseal vein actually it is, hypophyseal vein, portal system. Portal system actually it carries blood from one part of the body to another without going anywhere else before. That is the portal system. So here this neurosecretory cells secrete the hormones in the body. These are the capillaries, arterioles, venules, and they all come through this point. So this neurosecretory cell of hypothalamus secrete the stimulating hormone in the blood, and this blood carrying the hormones, stimulating hormones means stimulating factor or inhibitory factor, not actually the hormones, they are the factors. They can be the stimulating factors or inhibitory factors. So they are released in the blood, and through the blood it reaches to the lobe, anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, and here pituitary gland stimulated to secrete the tropic hormones. Here the hormones which are secreted in this blood is the tropic hormones or tropins. These are secreted. So this stimulate, and the lobe of pituitary gland secretes hormones in the blood, and this through this blood this hormone goes to its target site. So these are the tropic hormones secreted by the pituitary gland. Now here the posterior lobe of pituitary gland, this hormone here it is secreted by, synthesized by the hypothalamus, and these are the vasopressin and oxytocin. These hormones are synthesized by the hypothalamus and remain stored in the axon part of these neurosecretory cells, and whenever they are required they are secreted by the posterior lobe of pituitary gland and reach to the target site to show their actions. So this is how anatomically the different lobes, this is the pars intermedia that secrete the melanocytes hormones, melanocyte stimulating hormone, that is only one hormone secreted by this pars intermedia. So this is how these are attached to the hypothalamus. These hypothalamus secrete the inhibitory or stimulatory factors in the blood that enable the pituitary gland to secrete the tropin hormones. Okay. Now, let's study about the hormones that are secreted by the adenohypophysis, that is the anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Hormones of adenohypophysis. And this first hormone is the somatotropin hormone. As I said that the anterior lobe of pituitary gland secrete the tropin hormones, that is mostly the proteinaceous in nature. So that is the somatotropin or growth hormone. This is secreted by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland. The function of this somatotropin is elongation of bones, enlargement of muscles, growth of visceral organs, this is visceral organs, retention of protein and calcium required for the body growth, formation of new cell, and for elongation of bones, and accumulation of proteins. These are some functions. Now, what happened? There is some disorders related to the hyper or hyposecretion of these hormones. The hypo or hyper secretion of hormones are work in two ways. The hyper secretion is conditional. When the secretion is hyper, the first condition can be taken as the early stage of development during the childhood stage. If the secretion is hyper during the early stage of development, then the overgrowth of the body taken place, and that is called the gigantism or gigantism, excess growth, gigantism or pituitary gigantism, because there is the disorders of hypo or hypersecretion of the hormones. Due to these hormones also the growth has been affected, and also by the disorders in genetic combination. In both conditions disorders arises. So gigantism in early stage of hypersecretion of this growth hormone is gigantism, and if this secretion is during the late stage when the child achieve its growth after adolescence, that is the adult stage, then it is called the acromegaly, excess growth of the body parts, limbs like the jaw, that is generally called the gorilla appearance. The arms are too long and jaws are too big, so that is the acromegaly due to hypersecretion of this growth hormone, means somatotropin, during the late stage of development. Now the hyposecretion also create disorders. Hypo means less secretion and hyper means over secretion. So hyposecretion, same condition. If we take in the first, that is the early stage of development, then it is the dwarfism, pituitary dwarfism. Okay, that is the retarded body growth, height. And second is the hyposecretion in late stage, that is after achieving the attaining the proper height, late stage, that is the adult. So here also improper growth of limbs, improper growth of limbs, means limbs like the hand, jaw are not in proper proportion as the whole body is. So that is the late stage is the improper growth of the body parts, not height, because height has been attained earlier. And if the early stage, the hyposecretion, dwarfism, the retarded growth, and hypersecretion will gigantism, excess growth, and acromegaly during the adult stage of excess secretion. Now the another hormone secreted by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland is the TSH. As you people perhaps knowing, that is the thyroid stimulating hormone. this thyroid stimulating hormone enable the thyroid gland to absorb more iodine and secrete thyroxine. Okay. Next hormone is the ACTH. ACTH. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. This adrenocorticotropic hormone enable the adrenal cortex to secrete corticoids, glucocorticoids hormone, glucocorticoids, that is the steroid hormones. Okay. Another hormone is called the gonadotropin. And this gonadotropin includes the FSH, that is the follicle stimulating hormone, LH, that is the luteinizing hormone, and ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormones. Different purposes. FSH hormone help in the gametogenesis, that is the oogenesis or spermatogenesis. Similarly, luteinizing hormone help in the secretion. Interstitial cells are also called the leading cells that help in the secretion of the male hormone, that is the testosterone, while the luteinizing hormone help in ovulation and maintains the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is the temporary gland, and that secretes the progesterone also. Besides this LTH, one more hormone is that LTH, lactogenic hormone, that help in the, that is not gonadotropin, LTH, that is the lactogenic hormone, and this help in the secretion of milk production. This is stimulated by milk production. ICSH secrete the testosterone. LH also help in the secretion of FSH also help in secretion of androgen hormones, that is a male hormone. So here it is the gametogenesis, that is the oogenesis and spermatogenesis, and secretion of the male hormone, that is the androgens. Luteinizing hormones secrete the maintains the corpus luteum to secrete the hormones progesterone, while ICSH is the leading cells that secrete the male hormone testosterone. Now, hormones of pars intermedia, that is the middle lobe of pituitary gland. It secretes only one hormone, that is the MSH, that is the melanocytes stimulating hormone. This hormone regulates the skin pigmentation, regulates the skin pigmentation. The pars nervosa, that is the posterior lobe of pituitary gland, secretes two hormones. That is the one is the oxytocin. This oxytocin help in the contraction in uterine muscles, and this help in the birth of baby. Besides this, they also help in the contraction of the alveoli of the mammary gland to eject out the milk. So this is the function of oxytocin. Second hormone, that is the ADH, as you are knowing, anti-diuretic hormone, that is also known by the name of vasopressin. This vasopressin, as the name itself, is the pressure increases in vessels due to contraction of the blood vessels, arteries. The pressure has been increases, and that help in the filtration. Besides this, this also help in the absorption of water from the DCT, means secretion of ADH help in the increase absorption of water from DCT and collecting duct, and this make the urine hypertonic. Excess hypersecretion of the vasopressin make the urine hypertonic. Very less amount of water passes through the urine because most of the water is absorbed by the DCT and collecting duct. The hyposecretion, the important term related to this is that the hyposecretion of this hormone, hyposecretion of vasopressin increase volume of urine, and this increased volume of urine is known by the name of diabetes insipidus. This is not of pars intermedia. This is of the posterior lobe of pituitary gland, that is the vasopressin, and this hyposecretion of vasopressin is increased volume of urine, that is about up to, it can be reached up to 10 liter, and this condition is called the diabetes insipidus. This condition is called diabetes insipidus. Excess water is released from the urine, that is hypotonic urine. Diabetes insipidus. It is different from the diabetes mellitus, because in diabetes mellitus the glucose has been passed out through the urine, while in diabetes insipidus excess amount of water has been passes through the urine because of hyposecretion of vasopressin hormone. So this is all about the secretions of the different lobes of the pituitary gland. In next video we will meet with the secretion and function of the hormones of the other glands. Thank you. Have a nice day to you all.